Hey guys, Steve here. Today I got a look at the Tier 3 Russian cruiser Svietlana. Kuznetsov on the screen here. You can see I got him up to level 12 now. I got him set up as an HE type of a spammer, and for this ship I think that's the way to go. I just got up to the Tier 4, and I think that one might be more AP centric. We'll take a look at that one soon once I put some more time into it. But this one, it's not my favorite ship, let's just put it that way. Fully maxed and set up how I got it. Has the worst turret traverse, or tied with the Carl for the worst turret traverse at the tier. There is a mod that increases the turret traverse quite a bit. Normally I would recommend going with the hull upgrade first, but the turret traverse is so mind-numbingly bad on this that I would probably recommend putting on the turret traverse mod first. Prior to having that, you really have to aim your guns by turning your ship primarily. They're going to struggle to keep up if you're in the middle of a turn. They're not going to be able to keep up with the turn. So unlike most cruisers, if you're on the move and you're trying to zig and zag, you're going to have issues doing so. Now what you got to keep in mind here, let's say you're turning away from a target to angle or something, you're going to be tempted to stop halfway through, let your guns catch up as they've reloaded, fire a shot, and then continue the turn. That's going to get you wrecked quite a bit. You never want to be sitting broadside in this thing towards other targets, cruisers, battleships. Battleships will actually absolutely wreck you on this thing. Cruisers, most of them have better AP than you do, so you're going to want to be maintaining your angle. Now you can see it's got a truckload of guns. I don't even know, I can't count that high how many guns there are. It's 15 total, so presumably you can get about 7 or 8. I guess 8 would probably be the number if you get them all on target. But this is one of those ships that you can only get them all on target if you're fully broadside. So if you have a protected firing position like I do now, where I'm firing behind these islands, I'm not getting spotted, then you can try and get all those guns on target. But again, if you're spotted and you're taking incoming fire, you gotta sacrifice that full broadside and protect yourself. Cruisers, you're always going to want to protect yourself first, deal damage second. It's even if you get that beautiful salvo off and it does a lot of damage, let's say you get a 5,000 strike, if you die doing it, that's the end. Whereas if you get a 1,000 damage strike while protecting yourself, and then you get, several more salvos off, you're going to end up doing more damage. So kind of focus on protecting yourself in this one. I did have a Kraken game saved from the stream yesterday. End up using this one instead. We get to highlight the torps and the AP in this. The AP isn't all that effective. You got the lowest caliber guns at the tier. AP damage, lowest at the tier. So there's not a lot of incentive to use them. At close range though, like against this Kolberg, you can see we're getting some decent damage there. No citadels on that ship, but we're able to hit him with the guns and the torps, and he gone. So, at longer ranges, when you're firing the AP, you're going to get a lot of shatters, a lot of bounces, not very effective. Likewise with the torps, they're the shortest range torps on any cruisers, very low damage. The one upside is their very quick reload. I got 39 seconds on my build, so you can get them in and out of the water very quickly. But for the most part, I just stick with the HE. If you have the cruiser commanders, they have that IFHE-esque perk on the slot 3. That kind of increases the effectiveness of the HE penetration. I just go ahead and run it primarily with the HE. It's going to be your best bet. But if you get opportunities where you get these broadside cruisers close range, that's when you should be going ahead and using the AP. Kuma's coming around. He was just sitting there until he noticed we had shots on him. Now he's trying to push in. We got some torps, and once again we got the AP loaded here for him. And the Kuma, a little bit more lightly armored, and we're able to blast him there. We actually got some citadels, 4 of them, and that guy had melted pretty quick. I don't recall getting a whole lot of citadels with this thing. You could potentially use the punch through and Yamamoto, try and work on that AP effectiveness, but in my opinion it's really not that worth it. The tier 4, those guns I believe are a little bit higher caliber, and the AP actually might be quite effective on that ship. We'll take a look at that one soon, but just stick with the HE. Maneuverability on this thing is atrocious. 29 knots in the water, second slowest. 7.2 rudder shift on mine, second slowest. 590 turn radius, kind of middle of the pack there. Concealment 10.9, again really atrocious. I don't have my build on these Russian cruisers set up for concealment, so that's not helping it. But in general, just you got to be kind of playing from cover, you got to be kind of playing from the back line. You don't want to be the most attractive target, because maneuverability, concealment wise, you're kind of lacking there. So what does this thing have going for it? Not a lot. I mean, it's got a lot of guns, decent rate of fire, 8.5. I mean, compared to the Doogie, that's kind of fast, but the rest of them, that's pretty slow for the tier as well. So it's just the volume of fire going out, I think, and then you're going to be wanting to rely on your team and your terrain for cover. Just again, make sure you're not the most attractive target and deal damage over the course of time. Bogotá, the tier 2, which is also atrocious, coming in. Got an AP salvo into there. Again, it's semi-effective. It's not massively effective, but whatever. You might as well shoot it. Again, close range. I wouldn't probably be busting the AP out outside of 7-8 kilometers. After that, you get a pretty big drop-off in performance. So here we got Big Race, I think this one's called. This one, you can see I haven't really moved a whole lot here. You got pretty good coverage of the entire map in this thing. The map in general is it's a pretty small map, so usually this is a new player map, it's a low tier map, so a lot of times people will just push forward pretty aggressively in the direction that they're spawning in. There's different points, depending on which side you spawn on, where you can kind of just take a centralized position and then just harass people long range. And that's what I'm demonstrating in this game. That's a good way to play this map. I remember being a brand new player and trying to figure out how to play the game and just pushing the flanks, again, the direction that you spawn. It's kind of a fun map. It's a close quarters combat type of a map, but if you want to maximize your effectiveness and, you know, demonstrate the skills that you've picked up in your time playing World of Warships, don't be too aggressive pushing in. There's always shots to be had early on. Destroyers you can push forward to try and spot. That's going to be key for your team, of course, but due to the fact that most of your teammates are going to be pushing forward kind of haphazardly anyways, a lot of these targets will be spotted just by your random teammates moving all over the place. There's a Svietlana. He's trying to use the cover there. We got those of you that watch my streams can probably internally picture my clicking going off when I was trying to get that one off on the controller. But, you know, we got some shots over there. And got the Confederate while we're at it. So, my impressions of the line through research and through some feedback that's starting to trickle in towards me is the early tiers, you know, up to tier 4 potentially, kind of not the best ships. Again, I don't want to pass judgment on the tier 4 till I've put in some time on it, but once you get to the tier 5, the playstyle changes. We're going to start to get some radar on those ships. They're going to be more the HE spammer type of play that we saw on the Kutuzov, and I think that'll be kind of when the line starts to shine. So even if these ships are kind of clunkers or you're not having a lot of success with them, I'd continue to grind them out. I suspect the upper half of the line is going to be quite strong. So just kind of power through these low tier games, get through them. The teammates down here are extra maddening. You know, you'd think they're unreliable at higher tiers, but at least usually a fair amount of those players have enough experience that they're blameworthy for their play. These guys, though, they don't generally know what they're doing. And so, unfortunately, you're going to be losing some games that you thought you'd secured, but then you die too early, and then your team manages to throw it away, either chasing damage or humping the side of the map like a horny dog. But again, I just look for positions, play kind of conservative, look for positions that are protected, and that just pump out the HE shells as quickly as you possibly can here. This Svetlana's coming back around again, have more HE loaded. That's a shot right there. That's a good instance where most cruisers you'd probably want to load AP with that broadside presented to you. But even at that range, I just don't have enough confidence in these shells to really give them dedicated focus. Again, if you want to spec for AP, maybe the performance would improve, but I don't like fiddling with my commander builds and pumping a bunch of blue commander XP into changing inspirations just to grind a tier 3 ship for 10 games or whatever it ends up being. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the highest damage game that I ended up getting in this ship. Again, I think we had one better game on the stream that was a Kraken in terms of score, but I'm not planning on playing this ship again outside of our forthcoming tech tree showcase on stream. Whenever I get the line completed, we'll go through the line. Another close range shot, AP loaded, another salvo. So again, close range, fairly effective, but not the most reliable shell. That's a look at the Svietlana for you guys. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, you should consider subscribing. There's a lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. I do love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. Alright, peace.